Fatih Wali, we were former colleagues, so glad to see you. Honorable Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, esteemed colleagues and partners, in today's interconnected world, synthetic drugs have rapidly emerged as a formidable threat to our global security. Mexico acknowledges this concern and has a firm commitment to confront it with determination, with a comprehensive approach, though, to address the devastating effects of public health of synthetic drugs. I agree with Secretary Blinken. Synthetic drugs, we have to focus on that for the time being, I think, because it's the most important thing we have to focus on today, particularly on fentanyl and methamphetamines. And let me quickly address 5 steps that Mexico is taking. First of all, the fight against international crime and illegal trafficking. Just last week, Mexico completed the arrest and extradition to the United States of Ovidio Guzman Loera, who is accused of international trafficking of fentanyl, among other crimes. We need affirmative actions to address both trafficking, but also consumption of synthetic drugs. From 2018 to 2023, Mexico was able to seize 1,049% more fentanyl compared to 2014-2018 figures. And just last week, we were able to seize 2 million pills of fentanyl in Sinaloa. And you're right, it's so easy to transport. We are having difficulties to trace these type of things. So there is no surprise that between 2020 and 2023, Mexico has been responsible for 25% of fentanyl seizures globally. The second action I want to address is international collaboration. Bilaterally, we are working very closely with the United States. And on 7 July, I participated in the ministerial meeting convened by Secretary Blinken to launch this global coalition with more than 80 countries with the aim of improving multilateral, bilateral, trilateral collaboration on this very important matter. And we are now co-chairing, together with the United States, the Public Health Working Group of this coalition. We also need to move on the trilateral front, and I'm very glad to see my colleague from Canada, because on 24 July, we convened in Mexico the Trilateral Fentanyl Committee. And in there, we agreed on a work plan to work trilaterally on this very important matter. And we address a very important issue, which is know your customer. Let's understand where we are on this value chain of fentanyl. And we recently joined UNODC, the Global Container Program. And this is a very important program with 74 countries to minimize the use of containers for drug trafficking, especially chemical precursors and any illicit activity. This is very important because approximately 90% of global trade is carried via sea containers, of which less than 2% are inspected. 90% and only 2% are inspected. So the Mexican army is fully committed to really, in a certain way, control the ports, and particularly 3 ports, Manzanillo, Lázaro Cárdenas, and Ensenada on the Pacific. And on the Atlantic, we are working on Altamira and Veracruz. Thirdly, we established 2 pilot programs that are very important, and that to better regulate and to adapt to the ever-changing nature of synthetic drugs, because they are changing every time. And one of these is to have a watch list focused on an early warning system to detect new precursors and their diversion. And the other one, the second pilot program, is the CISUS platform, which is traceability. You said it, with using technology. We have to trace it because they have a dual function. Some of these precursors are legal, and they go to the cosmetic industry or to the pharmaceuticals, but the other side is the one we need to trace carefully and look at the drug manufacturing. Fourth, it is imperative to prevent the growth and influence of criminal organizations. And we are here because their capacity for violence and illicit trade harms not only our country, but communities. So we need to develop a synergistic relationship between drug trafficking and the trade of illegal arms. Illegal arms trafficking is the other side of the coin. And we are receiving 200,000 illicit arms in Mexico. So, and the other element of illicit, the elements are the financial illicit structures. You mentioned it in Europe. Illicit financial structures, we have to dismantle them. We have to, and we are in that sense already closing the accounts of 2,400 accounts with $2 billion in there. So we need to, in a way, to disrupt the financial chains. We believe, and I like what you said, we need a network to confront the network, and thank you for that concept, which I think is very important. But finally, and this is my fifth action, is we need to prioritize the well-being of victims with a broader public health vision. And that's why in Mexico we created the National Commission on Mental Health and Addictions, because we need to go to the structural causes. Why is our young people consuming fentanyl? What's happening to our society? So we just recently were in Colombia addressing precisely the public health elements of this problem. We need to address demand, of course supply, but we need also to go to our young people and see what's happening there. So finally, let me say that we do need to have a collective action to address this problem of humanity today. And I only want to inform you that Mexico has established a very close communication with China, with India, with Korea, because we want to analyze the value chain of precursors, fentanyl production, and we want to help in these tremendous pandemics. And President López Obrador has a full commitment with the United States and with Canada to address this very crucial social problem. Thank you so much.